Okay, it has been pretty much exactly 2 days since my last visit to this car lot. Figured I'd stop by again on my way home from my grandmother's. Here are some of the newer vehicles that are on the lot. Appear to be in better condition. Here's a 2000 Nissan Sentra and a Saturn L Series sedan that seems to be in really nice condition. Ford Explorer still open. Purple S10 pickup. With no air conditioning. It seems like none of the S10s on this property have air. All of the Blazers have air, but none of the S10 pickups, except for that blue one over there, seem to have air conditioning. And I just came back here largely because I wanted a picture of that old Geo Metro convertible that's definitely seen better days for one of my clunker mashups. It is cold. And that is a nice Suburban. This time I got the SLR. I left it in the truck last time because it was raining. Ford Explorer. Two-wheel drive Ford Explorer. It has air conditioning and an automatic transmission, but not much else. Base model. Alright, now here is my thing about Ford Explorers and Chevrolet Blazers. I talked to the owner of a car care center a couple months ago who is an expert on Chevrolet trucks. He owns several of them, which can be seen in my upcoming Like a Rock mashups. For security reasons, I'm not going to disclose which ones they are, though. But, there's the Metro. But he told me that the first generation S10 pickups and S10 Blazers share their front suspension or front axle or something with a 1983 Buick Century. Or maybe it was a Regal. I think he said Century, but I don't remember. So, he said because of this, the four-wheel drive S10 Blazers and S10 pickups are prone to wear on the front suspension and front axles because obviously an 83 Buick is not meant for off-roading. And he liked the two-wheel drives better because they don't have the same problems. They probably have the exact same front end, but because they're not 4x4s, they're not going to have the same problems. Like this one right here probably has that setup. This one's a 4x4. But this two-wheel drive S10 probably has, it probably has the same setup, but it's not going to have the same problems with the suspension wearing out. So, my opinion of this is everything is relative. If you take a stock S10 pickup or stock S10 Blazer or Jimmy or S15 or Sonoma, they're all the same truck underneath. If you take any of those off-road when they're bone stock, and I'm not talking just plowing through the snow during a blizzard or turning on the four-wheel drive to get through a mud hole, I'm talking serious rock climbing and serious off-roading that can really be hell on any vehicle. Then you're probably going to have an issue. But most people who bought the S10 Blazers and pickups and GMC Sonomas and Jimmys in the 90s and in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s probably did not really use them for serious off-roading. They probably used them to plow their driveway. They used it to get to work in a snowstorm. They used it to get through mud if they went on a dirt road. Maybe they did a little bit of off-roading, but nothing serious that would require modifications to the truck. So everything's relative. Despite the fact that the durability of the front of the suspension and undercarriage components on the S-Series trucks and SUVs is suspect, I still love them. Because if I owned one, I would not do any serious off-roading. I'd use the four-wheel drive, but I would never do any serious off-roading. That is my opinion. And if I were to do serious off-roading, I'd put in a better front axle. That is a nice truck right there. I wonder if this has the 350. And it's actually unlocked. Well, this is a base model one. It had a radio, there's no air conditioning, and a lot of the stuff, it appears, has been taken out. And I do not believe this has intermittent wipers. This is like, here we go, 85. So it says October of 85. It looks like that would make it an 86. But yeah, my opinion of the S10 Blazer 4x4s. Yes, GM may have used a suspension axle setup from a passenger car in a 4x4 to save money, but unless you're doing really serious off-roading or hauling, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And if something does go wrong, I have friends who are mechanics and I can get it done at a reasonable price. I could get it repaired at a reasonable price. But this guy was saying he was making a small fortune on S10 pickups and Blazers, the four-wheel drive ones, coming into his shop for suspension repairs. But he loves the two-wheel drive ones, like that one. And then axles are another thing. In 1993, I know for a fact you could get the biggest gear ratio in an S10 Blazer you could get was 342. And you could get it in just a standard axle where only one wheel spins. You could get it in posi-traction where both of them spin at the same time, and it results in better traction and towing ability. And I don't know about limited slip. I know you could get a locking rear differential ratio, but I don't know about limited slip. And the two axle ratios you could get in S10 Blazers in 93 were 308 and 342. And since my dad bought his off the lot, his probably had a 308. And I do not believe it had the towing package. He used it to tow a small motorboat a couple times a year, but I do not believe his had the total towing package with the transmission oil cooler and the engine oil cooler. And he just had a trailer hitch put on at U-Haul, but it never had any problems. We towed the boat from Pennsylvania to Maine without any problems. And his Blazer was also a beast in the snow. So, yeah, everything's relative. If you're not going to do any serious off-roading or towing, a purchased off the lot S10 Blazer or S10 pickup 4x4 with, I'm about to run out of space here.
This has been a Stamped Octagon production.